Hi, I'm Stella and welcome to my channel, 30 Books, where I talk about Australian books and Australian writers to inspire you to run out and buy or borrow an Australian book. But speaking of New Zealand writers, I've just happened to have one here, and it's R.W.R McDonald, otherwise known as Rob. Not Ronald. Get that all the time, don't you? So what have you got in your hot little hands here?
So I have the Nancy's and Nancy Business. So
the Nancy's came first,
yes,
and then came Nancy Business, and it was
just came out this month. If we are in June.
And can I just say, we love the Nancy's, and we love Nancy Business. So two sentences. Tell us what it's about.
So Nancy Business can be read as a standalone. It's a story which starts 4 months after the Nancy's finishes. The Nancy's are an amateur detective trio made up of schoolgirl Tippy Chan and her uncle Pike and his boyfriend Devon, set in small town South Otago, New Zealand. I used a lot of commas in those two sentences.
Oh yes. So you've got multi-generational. Did you mean to do that? Did
Yes.
you set out to write a multi-generational book?
I did want to have a multi-generational, so one of the, I guess, indirect characters is Nancy Drew herself. What drew me to Nancy Drew was I wanted my main character, Tippy, to have a role model in terms of trying to solve a mystery to begin with. But then when I was looking at Nancy Drew, I think her first book came out in 1933, around then. So then I was able to tie that with Uncle Pike having a love of Nancy Drew, which then made them have this almost shared language to be able to talk about different plots and things that happen within Nancy Drew. So I love that. And then we had Mrs. Brown, who's probably one of the older characters, who's almost like a pseudo-grandma, who's the next door neighbour. But yeah, I wanted to hear from all voices as much as I could within this community.
And it's a beautiful thing. But these books are not to be mistaken for young adult or kids' books, are they? Because there is sexual innuendo.
And there's swearing in them as well.
Have the kids read the book?
I think they sneakily have. I told them not to, which of course meant they did. They're now 13 and 14, which would be fine if they read it. I mean, it is written from the point of view of Tippy, so a lot of the innuendo goes over her head. But in these days of Google, who knows?
Now, even though the innuendo goes over her head, you're actually not making fun of her innocence in the book.
No, not at
Yeah,
all.
and
No.
she's smart.
She
girl.
is smart.
Yeah.
And I think there's that thing where Tippy actually knows a lot more than she even lets on to the reader, because kids these days, you know, with the internet, yeah, back in our days, it would just be some
Horse and cart.
yeah.
With the TV. Right, speaking of our days, if I was to say to you, which one of you bitches is my mother, what would you say? How would you answer that?
I would say Lily from Lace.
Yes.
I love that.
So the question is, like your favourite book, really, or a memorable character.
Yeah,
So we bonded a little bit over Lace, but then you dropped a bombshell.
Well, because then I remember the second miniseries, Lace 2, which ended on the cliffhanger, which one of you bastards is my father?
Speaking of bastards, who do you think is the biggest bastard in literature?
Ooh. I don't know why Heathcliff is coming
He
to
is.
my mind. I think he's a bastard.
Oh, he's horrible.
Yeah.
He's not romantic.
No. And I mean, I love Wuthering Heights is one of my favourite
Is
books
it?
ever.
Oh.
I just think it's such a tortured relationship, but they're both horrible. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And which book do you wish you had written?
Ooh. was going to say something controversial, so I'm not.
Lace, the Bible.
I was going to say the Bible.
Well,
You know,
it's in every hotel
I
room.
know, right?
Yeah, wouldn't
Best-
you like it if the Nancy's,
bestseller.
you opened a drawer and there was the
Oh,
Nancy's?
well, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Pride and Prejudice, but
It's lace. Lace.
lace. I meant lace. I
Yeah.
miss lace. Or yeah. No. Actually, I wish I certainly wish I hadn't written any Harold Robbins books.
Now this is a channel about Australian books, and you're not Australian, but I've got a very Anzac thing going on here. So
Yeah,
it's
no, it's
Australian
lovely.
and New Zealand books. So tell me about your recent New Zealand read. Ooh, don't let your country down.
No pressure. So Sam Coley, State Highway 1. Lil O'Brien, Not That I'd Kiss a Girl. So they're two relatively recent NZ books. Sam's based over here in Australia as well, but his book is about a journey down State Highway 1, which runs all the way from the top of the North Island to the bottom of the South Island.
Oh wow! Is it
It's
fiction
a
or
fiction.
non-fiction?
It's real. I love it. It's
Yeah.
so good. Yeah.
And so today, here at Blarney Books, you are in a crime writers session. Are you a crime writer?
I have fitted in very comfortably to the crime writing community. That's not me hedging my bets. I'm writing crime. I'm enjoying writing crime. The only reason for my hesitation is I don't want to rule out. You know, I think as a writer you want to be able to explore anything you want, but for now and the next couple of stories is definitely crime based and around crime.
Oh, because I also have a theory like that crime writers are very cheery people, very sunny.
They seem to be, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think maybe because they put the darkness on the page.
Yeah. R.W.R McDonald, author of The Nancy's and Nancy Business. Thank you so much for your time
Thank
today.
you.